Hey everybody, Josh Hayes here for ScoreStreak.com, and today I'm going to bring you my top 3 daily fantasy rules for setting your lineups on ScoreStreak, or for daily fantasy in general as well. As a quick side note before we get into the rules here, if you happen to log on to ScoreStreak.com and check the leaderboard, if you see a team FS Insiders, that's me, you'll see that I'm number 1 on the leaderboard in terms of points and wins, so that way you know the information that you're getting from me today is going to be useful for you. Alright, on to the rules here. So the number 3 rule right now is to check the defensive matchup. Especially on days where there's large NBA slates and you have players like LeBron and Kobe and Kevin Durant, some of those players that you don't know who you want to choose from. It's a close decision and you need to break some ties. I like to let the defensive matchup break the tie for me. So a good example from last Wednesday where you had the Lakers playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, so you had LeBron's matchup, and then you have Kevin Durant against the Houston Rockets. Well, if you take a look at the Lakers, they are second to last in the league, allowing 106.8 points per game. So basically everybody scores on the Lakers. They're terrible defensively. So if I was trying to choose between Kevin Durant or LeBron James there, Durant has a much worse matchup with Dwight Howard in the middle and the Houston Rockets, who are a much better defensive team than the Lakers. I think they're about middle of the pack, but anyhow, way better than the Lakers. I would use that defensive matchup to let me play LeBron for 30 points on ScoreStreak and slide Kevin Durant over to 24. So if you did that, I think Kevin Durant landed exactly on 24 on Wednesday, and LeBron went for 30 plus against the Lakers. So you would have slotted those correctly based on the defensive matchup. So that's how I like to do it. The number 2 rule here is to check for role changes based on injuries or coaches' decisions. Good example here is Kemba Walker, who his role has greatly increased because of the injury to Al Jefferson, who was their primary scorer in the middle there. He's been out for almost a month now. So Kemba Walker is currently averaging 19.2 points per game. It was less than that before Al Jefferson went down with the injury. In the last month, he's bumped that up to 24 points per game. In the last 2 weeks, he's bumped that up to 27 per, which is a great slot for you to look for Kemba Walker if you're looking for him in terms of scoring anywhere across the board. Almost, even in some cases, you can use him for 30 points. So I like to take a look at that role and see that it's changed, and you know that Kemba Walker is going to get a lot of shots where he wasn't getting nearly as many before, and because of the injury, he becomes a good play on ScoreStreak that way. And that would work anywhere on daily fantasy sites as well, not just ScoreStreak, but there you have that. And the number 1 cardinal DFS rule for daily fantasy, for ScoreStreak, any site, any sport, anywhere, is to check for injuries 30 minutes before game time. So you need to log on to any site here, RotoWorld, RotoWire, any site that provides injury updates. Just a lot of Twitter accounts there as well. Fantasy Alarm has a good one for NBA daily lineups. You can just search NBA daily lineups there as well, and they'll be posting who's starting or active in their lineups there. Something that you definitely have to come back and pay attention. It sounds like a basic rule that's pretty obvious and a lot of people are already doing, but I still see players in my fantasy matchups on ScoreStreak using injured players that have been announced out hours ago, and they still roll them into their fantasy lineups. And the last thing you want to do is have a dead player in your lineup that's going to score you 0 points in your daily fantasy lineups. So there you have it, my top 3 rules for daily fantasy and setting lineups on ScoreStreak. Don't forget, there's a tournament action going on each and every day on ScoreStreak, as well as the cash games. So a lot of good action there. And they have the weekly Friday free roll. So if you haven't got a chance to try out ScoreStreak for free, you can do so. If you're looking for some extra advice, there's some great blogs that ScoreStreak's been posting, and I have a brand new blog site. It's scoreStreak.com/advisor. You can always tweet me anytime here if you have any daily fantasy questions or regular fantasy questions in general, at FantasyHoopsPod. And don't forget to check out the 100% deposit bonus that ScoreStreak's running. They're up to $500, and you can follow all their promos and all the great stuff they have going on Twitter at ScoreStreaker. I'm Josh Hayes, and good luck in all your fantasy matchups this weekend, everybody.